thriving, playing, living life to the fullest. Our mission for Kansans since 2003. We are Kansas Spine and Specialty Hospital, proudly supporting KPTS, Public Television for Kansas.
The following program is brought to you by TZ Productions, celebrating KPTS's nearly 50 years of community support in South Central Kansas. Great starts here on KPTS.
It is time for another half hour of Hatteberg's People. Here's what's coming up.
Yeah, he was one of the last survivors of what they used to call the Great War. We call it World War I. Learn how he took a licking and kept on ticking. This is both a lesson in history and a lesson in life. Also,
if it grew, he knew all about it. His gardening columns were legendary. Revered writer Frank Good talked about his life and career as he was planning to retire. And
what do you do when your player piano breaks down? That's a good question. Well, you take it to Henry Buresh in Caldwell. At least that's what you used to do. You'll meet the man behind the music and learn the personal reason behind his passion for these pianos. I'm Larry Hatteberg.
And I'm Susan Peters. Thank you for joining us. Those stories and many more are queued up and ready to roll. Hatteberg's People starts right now.
These stories are like old friends. Their lives radiate from the screen like prophets of the past. They were teachers, but not in a classroom. Instead, they taught about life to those around them who cared to listen, and I was their student. Hello again, everybody.
It is great to have you with us once again. First up, his generation was cut from a different cloth. They lived through one of the most remarkable periods in world history.
Yeah, they experienced life from the horse and buggy days into the computer age. Along the way, though, there were some very tough times, and that demanded courage, grit, and character.
Fortunately, Robert Watkins was up to the challenge and lived long enough to become an enduring example for those who came after him.
My regimental commander was Colonel Theodore Roosevelt, Jr., the son of President Roosevelt.
To the doughboys fighting in the desolation of no man's land, World War I seemed to go on forever.
For most of us, World War I is a chapter in a history book. For Wichiton Robert Watson, it was one of life's toughest experiences.
Their lookout apparently located us and gave the range, and they must have killed 15 or 20 of our men were just slaughtered by it.
Robert Watson is one of the few men left who was a member of the 1st Infantry Division in World War I. This decorated veteran was drafted in 1917, and he served until he was wounded in 1919.
Will you please bow your heads in prayer? Gracious God, help us to take heart and gain purpose from the standards of our history.
In 1942, he joined the American Red Cross as field director for several military camps.
My service in World War I in combat was as a member of the 1st Division.
Today, still active, he is a model for senior citizens. Still youthful, he drives senior citizens to meetings like this one at the Red Cross. And the amazing part is, at 95, he's still stepping high.
I've been out to Veterans Hospital several times for hospitalization and treatment, and some of the doctors call me the young World War I veteran.
Yes, at 95, he's still using the same typewriter he bought in 1919.
I came up in a family that never did use tobacco in any form. We were always active in church work.
Growing up in this home in Missouri, he had Midwestern values of thrift and a love for education. After the war, he became a school teacher, principal, superintendent, and coach.
I get up at 5:30 every morning now. Used to be at 5 o'clock.
He's a disciplined man, riding his stationary bike twice a day.
Takes me about 8 minutes to ride a mile the way I'm going.
And he's like the rest of us should be. If it still works, don't fix it. How old is that refrigerator?
Bought it in 1948 when we remodeled the kitchen. Well, I go out and rake all my leaves.
While the rest of us wait for winter, 95-year-old Robert Watson continues to be in the spring of his life.
And then on November 11th, 1918, at precisely 11 a.m., the final shot was fired. Germany had surrendered.
Now that was 1990. Now Robert and every other World War I veteran is gone. The last one passing away in 2012. Hard to believe that. You know, he could remember World War I, and I remember thinking that's ancient history.
Ancient history.
And he could relive each day almost of his time in World War I and tell you what happened. And it was like a living textbook. It was amazing.
Well, it is because he lived in the computer age,
He
so
did.
he saw a lot of change.
Oh, he did. It was incredible.
All right, now we're going to go to Mays, where Larry got to witness the start of something very special.
I did. You know, it was amazing. The year was 2014, and Joanna Kilgore and her friends were embarking on a journey fueled by love and a dream. They were flying by the seat of their pants, but they knew they were on to something.
This is Moxie Junction in Mays, Kansas. It's a coffee house. Now, Moxie stands for Mothers of Exceptional Individuals.
We had hundreds of setbacks, hundreds of huge things, and each one I just had faith would figure itself out, and every single one did.
Morning.
This place was a dream, turned into reality out of desperation, and a showcase for what determined mothers can do.
I'm starting a job when most people retire.
These women, who are mothers of special needs children, which includes autism, knew they had to find something for their adult children to do.
Once they graduated and were completely done with school, it was harder to find them a job.
So Moxie Junction became a reality. At this little coffee house, the special needs young adults have a job, are safe, and remain part of the community.
It's still hard to believe that it's actually happening. And we have been so busy this week, it's just a whirlwind.
Now, 3 of those who work here are Laren,
Dishes, yeah. We love dishes.
Kara, and Chris. And Moxie Junction is popular, and behind the counter, things move fast.
It is absolutely wild here in the morning. It's absolutely wild. And we are just flying around back there trying to get every drink, every bakery item, we have many things and they're all specialized. I see a huge line and I think, oh my goodness, how will we ever make it through that line? And each time we make it through that line.
And it's just brought people from all over. It's a junction, it's a gathering spot, and it's really cool to see everybody come out and not only want the coffee and something a little to go with it to eat, but they're coming out really for the whole idea.
Right now, Laren lives next to the coffee house in his own place. Other homes for the special needs young adults will follow. Living, working, and remaining part of the community is the goal.
They've all been very excited. They are ready each morning to come to work, which we weren't even sure if that would happen. They are truly thriving, which was the whole purpose in the first place. So it's been really rewarding to see that it's working out even better than we thought it would.
Now the coffee house has art, is painted in vibrant colors, and the mothers hope it will become a gathering place for Mays. What they've done here, though, has national implications. It is a model for other communities nationwide.
I am loving it. That was never in my plan to run a coffee shop, and it has been so much fun. We're so tired, but the actual people and talking to people, we all enjoy that, and we've all loved it, and we love watching our kids. So it's been absolutely fun for us.
And the great news is that 4 years later, Moxie Junction is going gangbusters. Joanna says they're all doing new things all the time. The young workers are thriving, and she couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, the other 2 ladies, though, have moved on to other things. So Joanna is steering the boat on her own, but she says it has been, and it continues to be, an absolute joy. People in Mays, they've really embraced Moxie Junction. Great place to go.
I've been there. It is so cute and wonderful. It's like going to a different area altogether.
It is great.
Okay, we're going to rewind now, and we're going to visit a Wichitan whose passion was firmly planted in the ground.
Now, Frank Good was well known for the sharing of his love of Kansas flora. He wrote all about it for the Wichita Eagle and lived it every day. Frank was a cultivator of life that brought beauty and sustenance to the world. In 1996, he was preparing to write his final column.
The fact is, you never know it all. There's always something more to learn.
He was and is a quiet man, Frank Good, a man who all of us have known through 50 years of columns in the Wichita Eagle.
I'm beginning to wear down now. Up until, even the last few months, I was in great shape. But I'm really looking forward to the idea of, hey, let's call a halt to it.
On March 3rd, 1946, Frank wrote his first hometown news column in the Eagle. Over time, it became a must-read for many Wichitans. These pictures were taken in 1981 when Frank officially retired from the Eagle, but not quite.
I want a little more free time.
He may have retired, but he continued to write his gardening column and became a best-selling regional author. But next month, after 5 decades, he is saying goodbye.
I don't see how anybody can ever become bored with gardening because of the fact that it's something that's alive.
Frank has been more than just a garden writer.
This place is our share of paradise in Kansas.
At Botanica, Frank has been a loyal supporter and booster for one of Wichita's most spectacular gardens.
This place might be similar to what Eden, the Garden of Eden was, and if that's true, Adam and Eve had a marvelous place to be.
But time, like water, ticks and drips in all of our lives. Frank Good can't push back the clock, but he looks back with no regret.
I've been lots of different places and seen lots of different climates and lots of different areas, but I have yet to find any place that I think is superior to exactly right where I am right now. I have no desire to move.
At Botanica, you can visit the Frank Good Library, a place where Frank is quietly proud.
Mary and I have contributed about 1,800 books to the library.
50 years, a long time to write and serve a community. Will he miss it?
It's been fun. Yeah, I can't think of a single week when I haven't thoroughly enjoyed it.
Frank enjoyed another 19 years of retirement before passing away in 2005. He was 86 years old, and everybody who was into gardening always waited for the Eagle to come out with Frank's column,
on
particularly
Sundays.
in the spring. You know, he was booked to speak everywhere.
Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. In 1991, a Wichita artist was commissioned to paint a picture of the First Lady of the United States and her dog.
Now, we remember them both very well, Barbara Bush and Millie, the Springer Spaniel. Well, America loved both of them, and Candy Tate knew this was an important painting, and she rose to the occasion.
It's something that I've always wanted to do. I love creating. I love to convey to people that hopefully the excitement I saw when I saw a scene for the first time.
Candy Tate is described as having a lifelong love affair with art. Her impressionistic paintings voice the emotion she feels for her work.
I like the rich pigment, the buildup of the paint to give an indication where there's leaves coming out towards the sun.
Candy's work has been exhibited all over the United States and has been featured in many national art magazines. Her work is also in many private and corporate collections all over the U.S. and foreign countries.
It's fun. It's fun work.
But perhaps her greatest honor came recently when friends of the president asked Candy to paint a picture of Mrs. Bush in the Rose Garden.
Yes, I was delighted. I really couldn't believe it at first. And being asked to do this, it's a rare occasion that this does happen to an artist. You can't believe it. And then when you come down to earth, then you gotta really work. Now I've been asked. It's an exciting moment to have been asked to do this, and then you have to do the painting, and that's hard work.
She'll soon head to Washington and hopes to give the picture to the Bushes in person.
It's the image that I had in my mind before I even sketched the ideas, put them together, composed the thoughts. And now that the painting is completed, yes, it all worked the way I wanted it to. And it's especially nice since it is going to Barbara Bush and President Bush. I just like excited that I had this honor to do it. So I feel very, very good about it.
Now, Candy has since moved to New Mexico, and that painting, well, the Bushes loved it, and they still do. It hung in the White House the remainder of George H.W. Bush's presidency. Now it hangs in the Bushes' home in Texas.
Now, when Larry and I were young, we listened to music on phonograph records.
Absolutely.
You know, those album things, they were called the albums. We also listened to 8-track tapes and the radio as well.
We did. But not that many generations earlier, the only kind of recorded music there came on paper, scrolls. You fed one into a player piano and voila, beautiful music. They were amazing machines, and Henry Buresh of Caldwell did not want to see them disappear. So he started fixing them.
If you've never watched a player piano strut its stuff, then you've missed one of the mechanical marvels of the ages. With the smell of that old pipe smoke filling his workroom, Henry Buresh enjoys a musical moment.
A lot of them was in fair shape, a lot of them was in awful bad shape when I got them.
His daughter Betty pumps the keyboard of one of the many player pianos Henry has restored.
I'm not one guy that can just sit around. So I bought that player and I started working on it, and then I kind of got interested in it. So then I ordered some books on players and started rebuilding them, and my wife helped me, and we just went through a lot of them, I'll tell you. Enjoyed it.
The garage adjacent to Henry's home is full of restored player pianos.
I enjoy just tearing them up and see if I can fix them.
1915, 1912, 1905. Their dates are from another era, and that's just the way Henry likes them.
I've got them all over hell. I've got two clear from Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I got one 100 miles west of Dallas, Texas, and east of Wichita. I've got a couple of them out there, and it's wherever. Wife said I was like a hound after a rabbit. Whenever I'd hear of a player, I'd have to go buy it.
And buy them he did. Henry and his wife, Winifred, had 9 children. With a strong faith and a tender love, Winifred helped Henry restore the pianos until her death a year ago.
Love working on them. She did, too. We spent many hours out here, many nights working on them.
While together, Henry and Winifred had an idea.
Well, when I started rebuilding them, I said, boy, I just wish I could give each one of my kids a player. They was all different kinds, but they was all completely rebuilt, you know. So they just drawed numbers for the pianos, and we give them each a player piano. And I guess everyone is still working. They've been worked on. They still work fine.
I see my parents, a lot of hours and love and hard work that went into what they did for us when they probably knew all along that's what they intended on doing while they were out there working with them.
Just wanted something so that it has some of my work later on, or me and my wife.
It's a treasure for us that we will always have.
The music plays on, but not quite as loud and not quite as long.
Wish my wife could have been here to see this too.
Well, Henry kept working on the pianos for as long as he was able. He passed away in 2006, just a month shy of 92 years old. Now, his daughter Betty, who you saw in the story, says she and her 8 brothers and sisters each has at least one of their dad's player pianos in their home. That's neat, isn't it?
It lives on.
It does.
Now to a true Kansas character who brought class and dignity with her wherever she went.
Now, she was a lady who would have been just as comfortable living in the 1890s as she was in the 1990s. They called her the Hat Lady of Hutchinson.
In each home, it is the personality behind the walls that brings it to life.
Half of my personality is sanguine, and that is someone that loves to be different.
Living in a home that is constantly being redecorated for the seasons, Joyce Wessler has one of those personalities you'll never forget.
I love wearing different clothing. I love to decorate my house. And probably the sanguine personality, whatever they do maybe in excess would be a kind word to use. And so if I'm going to entertain, I want to do everything in excess. If I dress, we probably wear too much jewelry.
Well, Joyce may be a bit hard on herself here. The rooms of her Hutchinson home reflect the personality of a woman who has never stopped learning, never stopped loving life, and simply never stops.
I'm on a wonderful, exciting path. I have no idea where it's going to go, and I walk with faith.
She also walks in the knowledge of hats. She's known around Hutchinson as the Hat Lady.
I have approximately 500 plus now, and I've collected hats from all over the world, but they're a statement. They tell you something.
Scattered throughout her home are hats of every shape, size, and color. She puts on programs about hats, even down to what each hat means when you wear it.
I'm very demure. I'm Victorian. I should be very prim and proper. I should do all the right things, and I would be a lady.
And what's fun to watch is her personality change with each hat.
You have to have self-confidence, number one, to wear a hat. I think that's a prerequisite. And many women come up to me and they say, oh, I'd love to wear a hat, but I'm just not comfortable. So you have to have enough self-confidence.
That's not a problem for Joyce.
I think I've always loved hats.
If a house reflects an owner's personality, then this home surely reflects Joyce Wessler. Like her life, each room holds a different interest. Surprises abound, and there's always, always more to see. So it is with Hutchinson's Hat Lady.
Well, I like to describe myself as energetic, full of life, appreciative of life. Life is a gift. This is the personality that has fun and would decorate a hat home.
Well, we're sorry to report that Joyce passed away in her home in 1999, just 3 years after that interview. Now, she is fondly remembered by many, but so far we haven't found anybody who remembers what happened to all her hats. Incredible hat collection,
wow.
And she loved them.
That'd be interesting to see where they are today.
We'll
keep on looking.
Yeah.
You can still celebrate the past at Wichita's Old Cowtown Museum. And there used to be a guy there named Mike Tracy.
Now, he knew how to give you a tour around the place in an authentic Old West style way. I hitched a ride in 2012.
Sue Cow! Sue Cow! Come on! There's things that we can do here that you can't do in any other walk of life. The connection to history and the connection to the visitors is something I wouldn't like to give up. Tim and Barney are my counselors, my psychologists, they just taking a big animal like that and touching him, grooming him, taking care of him, paying attention to him. Okay, ooh, it's just good for a person. It slows me down, it gives me perspective, it gives me ties to the earth. It has a level of, well, let's say technology that I can understand. I know how to, I can rebuild a wagon, I can rebuild harness, and I know how the parts go together and what they all do. Otherwise, if I leave Cowtown, I get out in a pretty complex, busy world that sometimes it makes me dizzy. Yeah, I can stay pretty busy here, but it's all a relaxing type of busy. So we need to relate to our past to give us perspective of what's going on now. These last few years, I'm here because museum visitors to me are the people I want to be around. They're on their time off. I help them enjoy their time off. I just like them. But it's all part of ritual of life that gets us through our days and makes us sleep good at night.
Now, Mike retired from driving the Cowtown wagons just a couple of years ago. Then last year, with somebody else holding the reins, there was an accident.
A wagon went out of control. 3 second graders and a parent on board were injured. Now, since then, Cowtown has stopped offering wagon rides.
All right, everybody, that is a wrap for us this week. We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, if you have comments or a question, the email address is hattebergspeople@kpts.org. We love hearing from you. I'm Larry Hatteberg.
And I'm Susan Peters. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us again next time for another full half hour of Hatteberg's People.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
The preceding program was brought to you by TZ Productions, supporting KPTS and the communities it serves in South Central Kansas. Great starts here on KPTS.
Support also comes from viewers like you. Thank you. Call KPTS to receive a DVD copy of this program for a $40 donation. You can also send a check or money order along with the program name, date, and time to the address on your screen. And you will receive a 1-year KPTS membership.